Well, Andy, I guess it's been a frustrating start to the year for a number of reasons. How much of the sort of struggle to reach the heights that you reached at the end of last year physical, and how much of it is mental at the moment?
I mean, I don't know exactly. I think, I was never going to continue, the consistency that I had at the end of last year. It'd be unrealistic to expect that. But yeah, I mean, the last sort of 6-8 weeks, were tricky, with the elbow. But I feel like in Barcelona, I definitely felt like that was a positive week for me. My elbow felt really good. Physically, I felt, pretty decent. And yeah, now looking forward to the rest of the season. This is a really important part of the year coming up with lots of big tournaments and a very short space of time, so need to be right on it.
It's obviously great being world number one. I mean, some have speculated maybe the sort of pressure of trying to maintain those sort of heights is coming into play. Do you sort of buy into that theory at all?
Well, I mean, that's the sort of narrative that the press have been going with. I mean, I know how difficult it was to get there, and I also know how I felt this year, and it's that hasn't been the case. I've been asked that every week, like, how does it feel different? Do you feel more pressure? What differences come with being number one? And I've been playing on the tour for 12, 13 years now, and been ranked 2, 3, or 4 for the best part of that period, and it hasn't changed much, really, at all. I've just struggled a little bit this year. The beginning of the year was tough, a disappointing loss in Australia, obviously, but the last few weeks with the elbow have been tricky. Now that I feel healthy again, I'm hoping my results pick up.
It's been an interesting start to the year in many ways, with the sort of resurgence we've seen of Roger and Rafa at the same time as you and Novak having sort of perceived issues of getting up to those high standards again. How do you see the rest of the year panning out?
Well, a lot can change, obviously. What's happened at the beginning of the year maybe was unexpected, but a lot can change in a few weeks, and in individual sports, and obviously I want to get back to playing at the level I was last year, and I'm hoping that happens soon. Roger and Rafa have played great the whole year. Roger's obviously having a bit of a break just now, but Rafa's won the first 2 clay events, and Novak's obviously just made some big changes with his coaching team and his setup, and I'm sure we'll be hoping that gives him a little change, something new, something different to bring his best form back. So we have to obviously wait and see what happens in the future. None of us know, but for me personally, I'm hoping these next few weeks go well, and big build up to the French Open.
I mean, that's a massive call by Novak, isn't it, to changing his coaching team? What do you make of that decision, and how important is it to have the sort of right people around you? Obviously, yourself with Ivan has made a big difference the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's obviously a big change, but I think if you look at, I mean, a lot of the guys that he was working with, he'd been with for 10 years or so, and I'd say in tennis that's extremely rare, to have a team, around you for that length of time. So I think rather than seeing it sort of negatively, it should be viewed more positively, that they had a great run, obviously achieved great things together. It was only last year he held all 4 slams at the French Open, so it's obviously a shame that it's come to an end, but often that's the case in individual sports. The coaching and everything changes a lot, so we'll see what happens.
And finally, then, obviously back in Madrid, it's a tournament you've now won a couple of years ago. How did that sort of come about, this sort of massive sort of leap forwards in terms of your clay game a couple of years ago, and how important for you, your career, was it to start winning the titles on this surface?
Yeah, well, a couple of years ago, with my team, we sat down and were setting goals for the year and different periods of the season, and I had said that I wanted to try and win a clay court event. I'd never done that in my career, but I'd also only really played in Monte Carlo, in Madrid and in Rome. I hadn't really played any of the smaller events, and I decided that I was going to do that. I played in Munich and managed to win the tournament there, and that you know, it gave me a lot of confidence that I could win on the surface, and you know, the following week ended up winning here as well, and then you know, that was really all it took, was you know, some belief that I could win these big events, and my mentality maybe changed a bit going into the clay court season because of that, and you know, that's the same again this year. I have high expectations.